कैसे हैं आप सब? मैं बहुत अच्छी हूँ और उम्मीद करती हूँ कि आप भी बहुत अच्छे होंगे। मेरा नाम रेनू शर्मा है। एक बार फिर आपका स्वागत है हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल में। आफ्टर लॉन्ग टाइम मैं आपके सामने प्रस्तुत हुई हूँ और एक इंटरेस्टेड सी वीडियो लेके। तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं वीडियो को। लेकिन वीडियो स्टार्ट करने से पहले अगर आपने मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा और बेल आइकन का बटन दबाना ना भूलें और लाइक करना ना भूलिए। वीडियो अगर आपको पसंद आए तो कमेंट और लाइक जरूर कीजिएगा। चलिए फिर हम वीडियो स्टार्ट करते हैं। लेकिन वीडियो स्टार्ट करने से पहले मैं उसका टाइटल भी आपको बता देती हूँ। और हमारा टाइटल है बांग्लादेश इकोनॉमी नेक्स्ट एशियन टाइगर। आज हम जानेंगे बांग्लादेश की इकोनॉमी के बारे में कि वो क्या सच में द नेक्स्ट एशियन टाइगर है। तो चलिए देखते हैं क्या सुधार आया है इतने सालों में हमारे बांग्लादेश में। चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं फिर वीडियो को।
This is Bangladesh, the country which was once called a basket case, now being one of the fastest growing economies in South Asia. Just not this, it is even outperforming some of the big players in the region. This country has seen unprecedented growth in the past decades, with average economic growth of 7% in the last 11 years. Their GDP rose from 100 billion in 2009 to almost $303 billion in 2019. That's a massive 200% increase in 10 years. So how the Bangladesh economy is growing so fast? And is this the next Asian tiger economy? Well, let's find out. The country has a very rough history. In 1971 they got independence after a lot of struggles. Still things weren't that good. After independence the government simply did not have the ability to meet the basic needs of their citizens. And to make things worse, in 1974 just after the independence, a famine struck the country. According to some estimates it took 1.5 million lives. In addition, political instability and military coups worsened the economic growth. The industrial growth was also slow, and there were many reasons for that. Like the War of Independence, which had crippled the transportation system. Hundreds of road and railroad bridges were destroyed or damaged. And rolling stock was inadequate, and in poor repair. Now even though Bangladesh had a large workforce, the vast reserves of undertrained and underpaid workers were largely illiterate, unskilled, and underemployed. In addition, the government implemented socialist policies. Under this they nationalized much of the industrial sector, which further resulted in inefficiency and economic stagnation. So, in order to get good productivity and efficiency, the government gradually gave greater scope to private sector participation in the economy. Many state-owned enterprises like banking, telecommunication, aviation, and some others were privatized. But among all, there was one particular industry that gave massive growth to the Bangladesh economy. Yes, that was the garment industry. If you visit the world's best shopping places to buy garments, then there are good possibilities that you are buying made in Bangladesh ones. The country has become the second largest manufacturer of ready-made garments. It is their main item of export, which accounts for 84% of their total exports. You see, Bangladesh has a massive labor force, it is the 8th largest in the world. And because of this, they are able to capitalize upon low-skilled labor, to create ability in the labor-intensive export industries. This is the same principle followed by most of the Asian nations for their industrial sector, specifically for manufacturing. Today the garment industry in the country provides direct employment to 4 million workers, and indirect employment to nearly 10 million people. Also 80% of workers in this industry are women. This has a good impact on women empowerment in the country. Plus the country's garment industries are benefited from custom-free access to many Western countries. This is because many foreign countries remove the export duties for least developed countries. This also helps making their products more competitive. Another major pillar to the Bangladesh economy is remittance. Remittance is the money that workers who work in another country send back to their home. In 2019 nearly 10 million migrants sent over $18 billion in Bangladesh. This is nearly 7% of their total GDP. This has created a steady flow of foreign currency in the economy. A World Bank report found that, households where a member is working abroad, have higher savings and income. It showed that their monthly income and savings were on average 82% and 107% higher respectively than normal households. Research has also shown that remittances have made a positive impact on the Bangladesh economy. Now, as you know, everything has good and bad sides. Yes, we all agree that Bangladesh has achieved good economic growth in a short period of time. But it does not mean that the same formula they have been using will be useful in the future. Many people have warned the government about their overdependence on the garment industry. In an event like a pandemic, where the demand of the garments is low, it will not only impact the garment industry, but also their entire economy. Just not this, their duty-free access to developed countries could end soon. That is because the country is slowly graduating from the League of Least Developed Country. So they will have to pay duties just like any other country. Plus, due to automation, many jobs in the garment industry are at risk. Some estimates show that 60% of jobs in the industry could fade away in the coming years. In addition, people working in this industry are underpaid, and they are working in unsafe conditions. So Bangladesh really needs to diversify its manufacturing sector to high-income jobs, in order to sustain the economic growth. This is happening, but at a slow pace. New ones like pharmaceutical and tech industries are making progress. Next, remittance. This has its own upwards and downwards. On one hand, remittances can be used for consumption and investment, which further stimulates demand for goods and services, as well as contributes to the financial development. On the other hand, it can create dependency on recipients, and cause real exchange rate appreciation. This adversely affects domestic production and export of the country. So high dependence on remittances is also not a good option for sustainable growth of the economy. All these challenges have a direct impact on the foreign direct investment in the nation. Last year FDI fell to 20%, which is bad for any developing country. Another major problem the country is facing is natural disasters. This is particularly hurting the agriculture and infrastructure of the country. The World Bank estimates that Bangladesh is one of the most expensive places in the world to build infrastructure because of its variability to natural disasters. It is estimated that natural disasters cost them nearly 2.2% of their GDP. And this cost is likely to increase in the future because of rising sea levels. So to get things in order, first Bangladesh needs to improve their policies for business. As of today, the country is ranked 168th out of 190 countries in Ease of Doing Business Index. This number is not so great, particularly for developing countries like Bangladesh. Along with this, they also need to focus on their infrastructure, which will also help to create more jobs in the construction sector, and provide good support to the growing industries in the country. These things could attract more foreign companies and investment. And it could help the country to move towards high-end manufacturing. Hence it will also help in diversification from the garment industry. Now, even with all of these problems today, Bangladesh is a decent destination for trade and investments. With GDP per capita of nearly $1,900, it had even outperformed some of the big players in the region. Also, the International Monetary Fund has ranked Bangladesh as the 44th largest economy in the world, in terms of nominal GDP, and 32nd in terms of purchasing power parity. At the end we can say, Bangladesh has came far ahead by making its way. And still has good opportunities in today's post-pandemic world. So, we can really expect some remarkable growth by the end of this decade. Still, it is better to ask, what do you think about this country? Will Bangladesh be the next tiger economy? Well, tell us in the comments below. And if you really like this piece of content, then please share it with the world. We would also love to hear from you. What kind of videos you want us to create in the future? Thank you.
तो दोस्तों, ये पे हमारी वीडियोस फिनिश होती हैं जो कि बांग्ला से रिलेटेड थी। तो अब हम इसके बारे में जरा बात कर लेते हैं। आपको उम्मीद है वीडियो पसंद आई होगी। इसमें जो हमने देखा, क्या कुछ नया है, क्या कुछ स्पेशल है। स्पेशल यही है कि भाई जब सब देश आगे आ रहे हैं तो बांग्लादेश कैसे पीछे रह जाएगा। पिछले 10 सालों में जो बांग्लादेश था उस टाइम का बांग्लादेश देखो और आजकल का बांग्लादेश देखो, कितना ज़मीन और आसमान का फ़र्क है। मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा इम्प्रूवमेंट, जिस तरीके से एकदम कवर अप हुआ है ना ये देश, वो तो भाई कह नहीं सकते, मतलब ऐसा कोई हुआ होगा। तो कितनी अच्छे से और कितनी जल्दी से ये अपनी अर्थव्यवस्था से रिलेटेड या फिर किसी भी चीज़ से, पॉपुलेशन हो गई या फिर इंडस्ट्री हो गई, हर तरीके से अपने आप को बढ़ाने की कोशिश कर रहा है। तो हमें वीडियो तो भाई बहुत अच्छी लगी मेरे को, और आप लोग भी समझ गए होंगे कि बांग्लादेश एक आगे आने वाले 10 सालों में कैसा होगा। 10 साल की छोड़ो, 5 साल के बाद ही देख लीजिएगा कि जो अब है उससे कम से कम 70-80% तो लगा के चलो कि और इम्प्रूवमेंट होगा, और बहुत अच्छी तरीके से हो रहा है। तो भाई वीडियो का टाइटल तो रियल ही लग रहा है हमें, और ऐसा होगा भी। तो चलिए फिर अलविदा लेते हैं आपसे, मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में एक नेक्स्ट नई वीडियो के साथ, और तब तक के लिए बाय बाय। तो पसंद आई है भाई वीडियो तो लाइक तो कीजिएगा और कमेंट कीजिएगा और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिएगा। मिलते हैं फिर नेक्स्ट वीडियो में और एक नई वीडियो के साथ। तब तक के लिए बाय बाय।